This is our second of 2 videos within which we share our top 10 list of upper-tier national parks that we visited during our nationwide travels in 2023. Reflecting back, our first video draws from the many great parks located within the Colorado Basin. Within this video, we expand our coverage to those amazing parks residing on the eastern and western extents of the U.S., including Crater Lake, Mount Rainier, and Acadia National Parks. Follow along as we name 5 more of the best of the best. Our top 10 list is replete with parks residing in the West and Southwest. This should not be a surprise to anyone that has traveled throughout our country. The majority of our national parks are found there. This is due to the incredible beauty of the locations therein, as well as the result of settlement of our country beginning in the east and the lack of setting aside land for future preservation purposes. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, and we'd love any comments that you may have and would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. Our coverage begins in Dealth Valley, a park residing in the remote desert region of southwestern California, although a portion of the park does reside within the state of Nevada. This park encompasses the lowest, hottest, and driest location in North America. Soil temperatures here have been measured to exceed an incredible 200 degrees Fahrenheit. What draws us and others to Dealth Valley is the stunning landscapes of extremes found throughout the park. 550 miles within the park are below sea level, with Badwater Basin being the lowest point in North America at 282 feet below sea level. Yet, a mere 20 miles to the west is the area's highest point, Telescope Peak, at 11,049 feet. The sights here are unlike any other we've seen within the U.S. The brightly variegated soil seen throughout the hills of Artist Palette, the salt patterns forming on the floor of Badwater Basin, the amazing trails created by the sliding rocks found at the remote location known as Racetrack. All are stunning sights and not found anywhere else within the U.S. Yet, were it not for the extraction of borax in the 1880s and the genius marketing of a 20-mule team, the area would be a largely unknown location within the U.S. today. Reflecting upon the information we provided in the first video of the set, we did not communicate why we placed a park at the top of those we visited during the year, nor do we touch upon when or what we felt was a shortcoming. As a result of this gaffe, we endeavor to provide those details within this video. What we love about the park, first and foremost, are the multitude of extraordinary and varied geographic sites, when considered together, are not to be found anywhere else. Undoubtedly, the best known and first to come to mind for most people when Dealth Valley is mentioned is Badwater Basin. It's here that the salt flats transform into a gigantic honeycomb pattern of crystalline salt, which I love to photograph. 2 of my favorite sites are the multicolored hills and Artist Palette and Zabriskie Point. Another must-view location are the wispy sand dunes at Mesquite Dunes, rising as high as 680 feet. They are located a short distance from Stovepipe Wells, and one I find most unforgettable but difficult to reach are the tracks of sliding stones at the place known as the Racetrack. With the miles and miles of parched desert, seeing the contrast of the oasis at Furnace Creek is both necessary and unforgettable. Should you time your travel to the park for the spring, the appearance of spring flowers makes for a beautiful contrast across the otherwise barren landscapes. We are remaining in California for our second choice, although we jump 450 miles to the north, bringing you to Lassen Volcanic National Park.
Okay, where are we at?
We're at Lassen. How do you say it? Lassen
Volcanic National Park.
Volcanic National Park.
A place we've never been to before.
Lassen Volcanic National Park exists today in large part due to the efforts of B.F. Loomis. It is through his photographs of the eruption of Lassen Peak in 1914 the first such occurrence within the continental United States, that citizens within this country were convinced to preserve this location in order to commemorate the series of transformative eruptions that lasted through 1917. Today, it is hard to imagine the extent of destruction that rained down upon this region through this series of Lassen Peak's eruptions. The most violent of these occurred in 1915 and resulted in a large area within the park being known as the Desolation Region. Today, this very spot is a forest of evergreen trees and bountiful wildlife. What we enjoyed most from this impressive park were the stunning views of the mountains reflecting off the lakes. It is not surprising that many of the best trails are found in and around the lakes and present stunning views of Lassen Peak, besides the beautiful reflective lakes within the Manzanilla area. Other great hikes can be found within the park's hydrothermal area known as Bumpus Hill, and if your time and physical condition allows, the Lassen Peak Trails offers unforgettable experience. Besides, hiking, fishing, and biking and bird watching are also wonderful ways to spend the day within the park.
mister.
Lassen has been the location of several huge destructive fires lately, and these scars do take away from the beauty found here. However, this is not our main difficulty regarding this park. The biggest difficulty within the park is the challenge of getting there, and then where to stay. It is located in a very remote location, and there aren't many places to stay or where to get food. The benefit to this is the number of people that do visit remains small, which allows for a more enjoyable experience for those that do venture here. Departing California from the north, we enter Oregon and take you to Crater Lake.
Hi there, how are you doing?
We are doing very well. How are you?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having that ready. Do we need a map?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, road's going to take you 7 miles, get you up to Rim Village. You can see the lake there and Discovery Point, but everything right on this map is still closed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Our time to visit Crater Lake is in mid-June, and, as with Lassen, the snow remaining here is still very heavy, and it's negatively affecting what we can do. As the ranger stated as we entered, everything but Rim Village is closed at this time. While the snow here has reduced somewhat over the years, they still get over 40 plus feet of snow in a season. While 40 feet is in and of itself impressive, as a point of note, the greatest depth ever of snow on the ground at one point was 258 inches. This monumental moment occurred back in the winter of 1983.
Well, I know you ignore having ground beneath you at times.
Like many of the historic lodges built by the National Park during the early days of establishing these great places, the picturesque buildings blend practical functionality with extraordinary charm and enchanting antiquity. The views from the rooms and decks of these lodges offer some of the best in every park they occupy, and Crater Lake Lodge is no exception. Besides visiting the lodge, the hikes within the park, once snow has melted, are spectacular. I recommend taking the tour that carries you across the lake to Wizard Island. The water is so clear that upon reaching the lake's edge, nearby boats seem to be floating in the air. Other fantastic hikes include Black Neck Falls, Mount Scott, and Watchman Overlook. While our activities this visit are restricted at this time to exploring the Rim Village and viewing the lake mainly from the Rim Trail and a short distance along the trail, the thin layer of ice on the water and the thin, light fringe of snow along the lake's edge makes for a beautiful color contrast to the amazing depth of blue within Crater Lake's water. Continuing our northern progress to the state of Washington brings us to our last favorite park of 2023 from the West Coast, that being the extraordinary Mount Rainier National Park. This is not to disparage Washington's other great park, but as you may have guessed by now, we do love the mountains. One constant of our 2023 travels up to this point has been the appearance of snow, and our visit to Mount Rainier continues this theme, although to a lesser extent. This huge park is centered around the mountain/volcano, Mount Rainier. At 14,410 feet, this huge stratovolcano presents a major impact upon the region's weather. In simplest terms, the mountain dramatically compresses the airflow coming in off the Pacific. The airspeed is accelerated and moisture drained. This action creates unusual cloud conditions that often obscure the mountain, or stacking up as they climb the mountain and drape over the valleys below. As the air passes over the mountain and down the eastern side, the decompressed air is significantly drier, thus leaving the eastern side much drier than the western. So what do we like about this park? Everything. The waterfalls, the sights, the hikes. We like everything but the crowds. I guess we can't win them all. We've covered 4 incredible parks, all on the West Coast. For our final park, we travel fully east, stopping in the state of Maine at the fabulous Jewel of the East, Acadia National Park. There are many things to like about Acadia. For us, this begins with the abundance of wonderful hiking trails. Equally as popular here is the ability to bike the miles of carriage trails throughout the park. Acadia is the highest point on the eastern seaboard. While it doesn't approach the mountains seen out west, the combination of seashore and mountain views are an unbelievable combination, and the journey to reach those visages only adds to the joy.
I'm so glad you have that much energy. Jeez.
All right, burpees.
Don't worry if hiking isn't your passion. Acadia offers so many other things to see and do for those seeking a less energetic experience. The park can be fully driven during the summer months, plus there are buses that will also carry you to what you are interested in seeing if you don't wish to drive it yourself. There are lovely gardens, beautiful seashores, and a sandy beach, and it is all tied together by the harbor fishing town, ironically named Bar Harbor. Perhaps the only downside are the size of the crowds, and even those can be avoided if you choose to visit in the fall when the leaves begin their yearly transition to reds and yellows. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We greatly appreciate that you have chosen to share your time with us. If you like this video, please hit like and share it with others who may also enjoy seeing it.